statement, and then we're going to open the stack for comments, responses, and discussion. We know that there's some folk who probably prepared statements and they'd also like to share with us. Feels like it makes sense to go ahead and do those after hours, since they'll likely be in response to ours. So, go ahead. Restorative justice, by definition, seeks to restore, to repair, and reinstate bonds broken by a breach of trust and faith within a community. It deals both with the individuals who have perpetuated harm and those who've had harm done to them, and to larger communities these individuals are part of, who have also been negatively impacted by this harm. Rather than seeking or administering retribution, restorative justice works by trying to make sure that both those who have been harmed and those who have done harm are reintegrated with the communities they are part of, and that these larger communities themselves are able to move forward in healthy ways. Instead of getting even or administering punishment, we work as a community to make sure everyone gets what they need. When we formed the Restorative Justice Working Group, we hope to use this framework of restoration and reintegration, rather than retribution, to address complex and contentious problems that might otherwise lead to the disintegration of the occupied Nashville community. However, when we took our first case, what we have been referring to as the social media, PR, and tech team's case, we found that we could not fully carry out what we had set out to do. This case was brought before the Restorative Justice after the March 8th 48-hour digital communications ban that was placed on Jason Steen and Dorsey Molina. This is a statement that reflects what we were able and what we were not able to do, what the status of this current first case is, what the current status of the Restorative Justice Working Group is, and what our hopes and recommendations are. We hope that this statement, rather than being considered authoritative and final, can lead to productive further conversation and ultimately healing, restoration, and transformation.
Can everyone hear me if I just talk in my normal voice? Okay. So these are the things that we were able to do. We were able to create a structure and a process for using restorative justice for contentious issues. We don't think that it was the best structure, but we did create a structure. We were able to make contact with some of the concerned parties for the particular case that was referred to us. We were able to try to set up a mediation that of the state still has not occurred. We were able to hear different sides of the story and to hear a lot of stories of personal pain and frustration with dynamics and events in Occupy Nashville. These were the things that we were not able to do. We were not able to get the people involved with mediation. We were not able to get all the parties who had been involved at the table. For example, we nearly completely failed to reach out to and engage members of the tech team, and that was partially on us and partially on them. We were not able to meet everybody's needs. So people came to the table and expressed needs that we were not able to meet. We were not able to remain true to the restorative justice process in a way that would meet everyone's needs. We did not get broader involvement from Occupy Nashville, so it's not that we tried and failed, but we did not do that. And we were not able to get closure. Here are some general observations on things that we learned through our experience working on this case. We learned that practicing restorative justice was difficult. We felt we didn't have two parties fully willing to come to the table to seek common solutions, and this slowed down and ultimately derailed the process. Dorsey Molina made herself available to participate, but it took time and effort to get Jason to share his side of the story. We were unable to fulfill expectations that we had ourselves helped to create, most chiefly being able to resolve the case to everyone's satisfaction in a timely manner or even at all. Using the processes that we had established took time and energy that few of us could actually give. And a skill set that we didn't have, and a steep learning curve to get those skills were needed to properly address the needs of the case, and we were not able to commit to do that. There was potential for damage to the people involved due to our own inexperience, to the length of times things wound up taking, and to the severity and depth of the issues which we found extended beyond the scope of this very specific incident. The severity of trauma that we and others had experienced, both in this particular instance and through our larger involvement with Occupy Nashville, made it more difficult to address the specifics of this case and the work in general. And we did not anticipate the conflicts of interest that arose. We were all too close to the situation to be impartial. People had different understandings and expectations of the restorative justice process, and it often seemed that people were expecting or demanding a more retributive process. Finally, the typical definition of restorative justice process, that definition that DJ gave at the beginning, didn't seem like it would meet people's needs in this situation.
Here are some specific conclusions about this particular case. We found the 48-hour digital communication ban placed against Dorsey on March 8th to be unwarranted and inappropriate. We did not find any evidence that she had violated the tech team guidelines for email or social media. Jason's ban was consistent with the tech rules, so we deemed that ban appropriate. Specifically, he violated the tech rules of not using abusive or threatening language over Occupied Nashville media channels. We question and are concerned about a culture that promotes or tolerates the use of doxing as a means of policing. In fact, we are concerned about a culture that promotes policing of behavior in general. If we hope to bring about a world free of hierarchy, intimidation, and coercion, we must not use these tactics against our own communities in times of stress. We acknowledge the length of time it has taken us to give an update on this particular case and to advise on our status as a working group. We acknowledge that we have not been able to reach an outcome that was satisfactory to everyone who was involved. We recognize the length of time that has passed and the lack of outcome has caused pain and frustration, and we apologize for it.